Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Space Weather. We're looking at the LASCO C2 coronagraph here to see some coronal mass ejecta. It doesn't look particularly Earth-facing. It looks like two components, one to miss to the southeast and the other to miss to the northwest. If you're wondering where the view is located, it's located at L1, Lagrange point 1. Let's look at the view from the Coronagraph C3. It's a zoomed out version of the same thing. And it looks like two separate coronal mass ejection events. You can see this one here as well as this one out here. And let's take a look at some more views here. Here's Sunspot 2776. I apologize for the loading. Just give that a minute. And we did see some migration of fields here. You can see this interesting little moving umbra. And so the leading part of the sunspot actually grew and the trailing spot shrunk. And this is back to an alpha class sunspot now, slightly decreasing the chances of things like solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Let's take a quick look at the view from L5, Lagrange point 5. And we have some missing data on stereo A. I just wanted to show you that real quick. In any case, it doesn't look like there could have been a whole lot of ejecta. And indeed, some of the ejecta we see may be showing up here sort of on the opposite side as well. Earth would be in this direction for you new viewers. Again, this stereo A is located out here at Lagrange point 5. Here's the current image of the fields. There's 171 angstroms. Some filaments down there as well, 304 angstroms. We've got some custom movies. This one isn't super great. Here's a close-up of the fields, magnetic fields that is, and you can see that little migrating South Pole region there, right in this area. See that little migration happening as the leading umbra grew a bit. There are now penumbra up there, and the trailing umbrae shrunk and vanished entirely, or close to it. Here's a slight zoom out in 304 angstroms, and we're zoomed out a little bit because there's a coronal hole right here. And you can expect to see a coronal hole wind stream in about 4 days from that. And here's the 171 angstroms view. Again, you can see that coronal hole. It looks like a frowny face right here. And there's some filaments in the background there as well. A little bit of arcing happening there in 171 angstroms. By the way, we did make a Smash Lights segment. It will air after the Daily Space Weather. We're going to shorten the Daily Space Weather a little bit in order for that. Next, looking at the 10.7 centimeter radio flux, it is now at 74. And there is the latest solar cycle. The last solar cycle, actually, since we're now well into cycle 25, pushing a year on cycle 25. And there's sunspot number progression and the radio flux. And we saw a KP0 day. It was actually like 36 hours with a KP of 0, but we didn't really see that big of a cosmic ray flux increase. And the radio flux turned up at the same time as we saw that KP0. What you really have to ask yourself is, do cosmic rays mitigate the sun, or does the sun mitigate cosmic rays? In any case, the last 15 hours have been at a KP of 1. If you enjoy the music that we typically feature in the videos, check out soundclick.com/goldencapproductions. Is anything charted? Anyway, there are 15 tracks there. Nothing currently charted. We have seen Gem Cutter get as high as number 40. You can add it to your MP3 collection for $1.25. X-ray flux remains flatlined. We don't see a lot of activity coming out of that sunspot, as again, since its trailing umbrae have degraded, there's a little bit less for it to do. It is decent size though, and we'll see if it gets more or less consolidated by the end of the video. We don't see any proton strikes on the magnetosphere. Speaking of the magnetosphere, let's look at the real-time solar wind. So the phi angle just shifted here. That happened around 5:15 universal time. Current solar wind density a bit variable here, in between about 5 and about 15 protons per cubic centimeter. Could be the leading edge of a coronal hole wind stream there. Solar wind speed has come up a little bit, as it was all the way down to 258. That is, I believe, the lowest that I've ever reported on the channel. And we've been doing this about 2 years, every day. Current solar wind speed barely over 300 kilometers a second. Here is the Geospace magnetosphere movie. And you can see a bit of added pressure as a result of that density fluctuation that's recently been happening. This is going to show you 4 hours of data. And we show this daily because we cannot access this as an archive yet. Hopefully that will happen someday. And it's courtesy University of Michigan. Here is the ground geospace magnetic perturbation map. And you should see a little bit of induction at the same time as you see the increased magnetohydrodynamic pressure on the last frames. The last slide showing the space view, this showing the Earth view during this polar excursion. Welcome to the polar excursion. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Welcome to Cycle 25. It's not the modern cosmic ray maximum. Next, looking at the GOES magnetometer, we see some evidence here of a current sheet double boundary crossing sort of a situation. There's a little bit of indecisiveness going on. Here's what we're talking about. It's the Gong 2 data. The top view ecliptic plane field plot. It's showing you the heliosphere's magnetism, the magnetic environment in between the Earth and the Sun, as that plasma is associated with one or the other solar poloidal field. So, still an indecisive moment here going on, although it looks like we're a little more solidly in the green portion, the solar north polar field, and expect to remain there as that sunspot is south of the equator. Here's the line of sight field plot, which shows you the B field in blue also, as you can't really see it when you're viewing from the other angle. Keep in mind the data is 1 hour and 45 minutes old on both of these. No major changes happening in the B field. A little bit of a change there. The sunspot could indeed strengthen. And here's a magnetic field plot of just the corona. And we do see some changes happening there as a result of that sunspot 2776. It's decent size. Now, again, we are here at the Smash News Network. We do various different types of content. So check out our playlists. They're at youtube.com/smashamash/playlists. And there is also exclusive content on all of our social media sites. But in any case, we've been doing these Smash Light segments because they have been requested. And so there will be one airing after this daily space weather video. It is also a playlist. And I'll just give you a little teaser. We don't really talk about COVID. We do talk about Instagram and Ted Cruz and cosmology and cosmic ray flux and Cygnus X3 and the forum and cosmology and sexual preferences. We also talk about the largest lobbyists in the U.S. There's a teaser for you. Are you wondering who the U.S.'s largest lobbyists are? We also talk about Teespring and how there's a promo code if you buy any stuff from there, and thanks to everybody who has. Don't forget to enter the promo code MANSA. You can follow us on Facebook also. There's a link to all that there. As well as Minds.com, probably the future of social media, in that big tech has jumped the shark. We're also on Twitter. Don't forget to follow us there. Have you noticed some senators jumping the shark? Who votes for these people, much less trust them to legislate? We do stream typically live most days here at the Smash News Network to Twitch. It's twitch.tv/SMASHOMASH. And thanks everybody who tunes in there. Also, don't forget to press the notification bell and like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Leave us a nice comment. Leave us a mean comment. We find it all highly amusing. Thanks to our new subscribers over at BitChute as well. BitChute.com/SMASHOMASH. Let's get back to space stuff. Because here at the Smash News Network, we're interested in things like the Van Allen belts and the density of the electrons therein. Here's a one-year graph of the relativistic electrons, which are holding plasma around the planet. Were you aware? We don't see any charging hazards because we see very low levels of electron flux, and they're forecasted to go even lower, an indication that probably we are seeing a coronal hole wind stream striking, and you can see it's been pretty cratered here over the past 3 days. Here is a visualization of the total air column. It's the total electron content forecast. And we're seeing continued anomalies here at nighttime over the North America. We're seeing consistent electron belts here even at nighttime over the equator as well. So you may see a surprising number of GPS errors despite there being a low overall amount of electrons. And again, this shows you the whole air column all the way up to the thermosphere where the GPS satellites are located. Next, looking at just one slice of that, it's just the ionosphere layer. And it's looking anomalous once again, especially in the southern hemisphere. We're seeing relatively extreme charge ups down there. More normal in the northern hemisphere. Here's the latest image. That one is from 8:15 Universal Time. A little bit anomalous here over the South Pacific there, south of Hawaii. And we've seen magnetic anomalies in that area also, going back to yesteryear's space weather videos, last year's space weather videos. I like to use in-the-sky.org to make myself sky charts. And if you're up before dawn, you may see Mars and Venus up there at the same time. We're very close to the closest approach to Mars until the year 2034, I believe it is. And you can see there on the planetstoday.com chart. There's where planets are located. Looks like new moon is tomorrow. There's where things will be in a week on October 23rd. Checking out earthquakes, we don't see any large quakes, and we're seeing a continued earthquake drought, which is kind of freaky, folks, because, well, earthquake droughts end in earthquakes. So we've been seeing a very low number of 7, 8, and 9 magnitude quakes over the past, indeed, 2 years. So if you're in an earthquake-prone zone, please be prepared for the coming disaster. It's not a question of if earthquakes, it's a question of when earthquakes. So we saw at least a 5.4 magnitude here in the past 24 hours, otherwise not a lot. There's a deep one at the Philippines, just under 100 kilometers. And I'm just trying to scroll up the list here, but it's not cooperating. There we go. Another odd quake in Utah. Now, we covered one yesterday at -3 kilometers depth. Here's one at -2 kilometers depth. And this one is actually located in a similar area. 2,000 meters above sea level, so somewhere in the realm of 6,600 feet is the depth of that earthquake. It was only a 2.5, but perhaps magmatic activity? Sounds like an odd situation. Very deep quake strikes the Tonga region at over 475 kilometers depth and a 4.2 magnitude. Deep quake in South America. Deep quake at the Solomon Islands. Volcanoes have chilled a little bit. Popocatépetl is still erupting, exploding indeed, producing a 20,000-foot ash plume. Sangay, similar behavior there. And Sabancaya, continuous emissions. Please don't attempt to pole vault the caldera. We've got a bunch of hard freeze and frost warnings and, indeed, winter weather advisories. Check out the Tropical Tidbits forecast. We see some, let's see, there's about an 18-inch maybe about a 2-foot snow forecast in parts of northern Wyoming there. That's the Tropical Tidbits GFS total snowfall forecast through 1800 Universal Time on Tuesday, October 20th. And there's the way that's forecasted to play out. That's a bit of a long forecast here. If you want to be more accurate, go to about 3 days, and we're still seeing that 2 feet of snow there forecasted for parts of southern Montana and northern Wyoming. That's through 6 o'clock Universal Time on Monday. So it looks like Montana's going to be quite coated there, as well as northern Wyoming, most assuredly. 3-day forecasts are pretty accurate, folks. 1-week forecasts are pretty inaccurate. Here is water vapor maps. Here are water vapor maps, I should say, for Africa and Europe. And shout out to our viewers from there. Let me just check the chat and the life of the stream. Everything's fine. So there are those water vapor maps. Here are water vapor maps for you international dateline area types. Viewers from Munda and from the Far East. Here are America's water vapor maps, north and south. Here are the jet streams of the eastern world. And we're seeing a bend in this jet stream flow here. We've been watching and monitoring, actually, jet stream flowing east to west over the western Pacific and entire Indian Ocean for weeks. Finally, we're starting to see a fork in that. Here's the western world's jet streams, and put a fork in this segment, because it's done. Here are pressure maps. Here's where we expect them to be at noontime tomorrow, my time. And if you're wondering where I'm located, because you're a new viewer, thanks for tuning in. I'm located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. I like to use lightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. And we've been seeing this region of the world just struck with thunder every day for, I don't know, a week, maybe more. And some rogue lightning strikes out there north of Hawaii as well. Give me back control of my PC. Here is Weather Underground's U.S. Doppler radar map. We see quite a bit of snow already falling up there in the northern plains. Nice. Now, I love the cold, so I don't mind doing a bike ride with a high temperature of 16 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to ignore the cloud cover. We're going to zoom in on South Dakota, I guess. There's what's going on in the water vapor as that cold air gets pulled down from places like Alberta. By the way, since nothing is good, fast, and cheap, pick 2. We want our channel to be right here. Good and fast, but expensive. I'll tell you who's not cheap, our patrons. Become a patron at patreon.com/smashomash. You may get bonus features that you would not receive otherwise. Please consider helping to fund us in order to keep these videos free and publicly accessible, as we make about 2 cents per hour via Google AdSense, which has caused us to dip our tippy toe into the Amazon affiliate space. You can visit all of our links at smashomash.com/affiliate. You'll see a convenient list of all of these products. Whether you need PPE or supplements, we endorse and use all of the products on the list. So perhaps check that out. We've even got things like shower filters and shower heads on there now. Thanks to the Smash team. Whoosh. Please don't forget to share the content on your social media. Today's featured product is the Mansa shirt. Yes, you can visit all of this at smashomash.com, smashomash.org. It's the Smash store or the SMASho store. Click on those links And we just shipped 2 of these early this morning. Make America not suck again. It's up to you. And thanks for flying American Smashways. Official fake sponsor of the Smash News Network. We've got bonus features. So stop your grinning and drop your linen while we show you the colorized magnetogram. It's a close-up of Sunspot 2776. And I'm not sure if any of these are Umbre anymore. We'll see. But this one's got penumbra. Looks like it's downgraded to an alpha class Sunspot. Here's the ultra zoom. That's still a beta class Sunspot, folks, because this is North Pole and this is South Pole. So that's still a beta class Sunspot. There is still some slightly higher chance of maybe a C-class solar flare. I believe Noah agrees with me on this one. Anyway, here's the 193 angstroms view, and you can see some coronal holes forming. And we're looking at the possibility of some sort of a relationship between sunspots and coronal holes. More on that later, perhaps on a cosmology segment. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun. Use the proper instruments like the SDO, and don't drink. But certainly don't drive. And if you must drink, seriously, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back. And that COVID nonsense absent from your screens.